The transport pod hummed as it deposited Isabella on the barren moon of Kepler 442c. She stood alone on the rust-colored surface, watching the vessel disappear into the violet sky. Her people, the Valari, had made their decision. There would be no appeal, no mercy for someone like her. Isabella ran her clawed fingers through her fur, feeling the patches of color that had damned her from birth. While every Valari bore the sacred silver-white coat that gleamed like starlight, her fur grew in impossible shades. Patches of deep azure, streaks of crimson, swirls of gold that seemed to shift in the light. The elders called it a mutation, a corruption of their pure bloodline. They called her Chromata, the Broken One. Uniformity is strength, they had chanted during her exile ceremony. Purity is survival. But survival on this abandoned mining colony would require more than purity. It would require luck. 3 cycles of the moon's rapid rotation passed before Isabella encountered another living soul. She had taken shelter in a derelict mining station, surviving on emergency rations and recycled water. The loneliness cut deeper than hunger. She was a social creature by nature, and the Valari had evolved to live in close-knit family groups. Exile wasn't just punishment, it was a slow death of the spirit. The sound of engines made her ears flatten against her skull. Raiders? Scavengers? She pressed herself against the wall of her shelter, heart hammering in her chest. "Hello?" a voice called out in standard galactic, accented but clear. "Sensors picked up a life sign. If you're friendly, I've got supplies to trade." Isabella hesitated. She had learned that most species viewed the Valari as curiosities at best, commodities at worst. Their fur was prized in certain black markets. But starvation made poor company, and she was so desperately alone. She emerged slowly, her multicolored fur catching the harsh light of Kepler 442's red dwarf sun. The human stood beside a small cargo vessel, and Isabella's breath caught. She had heard of humans. Who hadn't? The species that had clawed their way from a single world to become one of the galaxy's most influential civilizations in just a few centuries. They were said to be violent, unpredictable, and dangerously curious. This one, Marcus, he would later introduce himself, simply stared at her with wide brown eyes. "By Earth's oceans," he whispered. "You're beautiful." Isabella's ears twitched forward in confusion. Beautiful? The word seemed incomprehensible. She had been called abomination, aberration, mistake, never beautiful. "Your fur," Marcus continued, stepping closer with his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "I've never seen anything like it. The way the colors flow together, it's like watching a sunset on a gas giant." You're not disgusted?" Isabella's voice cracked from disuse. "Disgusted?" Marcus laughed, the sound warm and genuine. "Why would I be? On Earth we have a saying, variety is the spice of life. Diversity makes us stronger, not weaker." Over the following weeks, Marcus became a regular visitor. He was a freelance cargo hauler, running supplies between the outer colonies. He brought Isabella food, medical supplies, and something far more precious, companionship. He would sit with her in the mining station, sharing stories of Earth's diverse biosphere, of oceans teeming with life in countless forms, of humans who came in every shade and shape. "We almost destroyed ourselves once," Marcus admitted one evening as they watched the stars emerge. "Wars over religion, skin color, who loved whom. Then we met the galaxy and realized how foolish we'd been. Now we celebrate our differences. They're what make each person irreplaceable." Isabella's tail curled around her feet. "The Velari believe uniformity prevents conflict. Same appearance, same thoughts, same purpose." "Sounds boring," Marcus said with a grin. "And dangerous. Monocultures are vulnerable. One disease, one change in environment, and everything collapses. Diversity is insurance. Its strength hidden in variety." As the months passed, Isabella began to see herself through Marcus's eyes. He would marvel at how her azure patches shimmered when she was happy, how the crimson streaks deepened when she was passionate about a topic, how the gold seemed to glow when she laughed. He had even started documenting her fur patterns, not as a scientist cataloging a specimen, but as an artist capturing something precious. "Each color tells a story," he would say. "You're not broken, Isabella. You're a masterpiece." The revelation came when a Valari scout ship appeared in orbit. They had tracked her biosignature, likely to ensure she had perished. Marcus stood beside her as she watched the ship descend. "Come with me," he said suddenly. "Earth has open immigration policies. The colonies need people. You could start over." "As what? A curiosity? A pet?" "As yourself." Marcus took her clawed hand in his calloused one. "As someone who deserves to be celebrated, not hidden away. Earth's full of outcasts who became heroes. I think you'd fit right in." When the Valari officials emerged, they found Isabella standing tall, her multicolored fur blazing in the light. The human beside her met their contemptuous stares with calm defiance. "She's leaving with me," Marcus announced, "unless you want to start an incident with human space. We take a dim view of how you treat your own people." The officials retreated, unwilling to risk conflict with humanity's notoriously protective species. As Marcus's ship broke atmosphere, Isabella pressed her face against the viewport, watching the moon that had been her prison fade into the darkness. Ahead lay Earth and the unknown, but she was no longer afraid. "Thank you," she whispered, touching the viewport with one multicolored paw. Marcus smiled, adjusting their course for Sul system. "Thank you for letting me see how beautiful being different can be. You reminded me why I love being human. We have room in our hearts for everyone." In the cargo hold, Isabella's emergency beacon lay deactivated. She wouldn't need rescuing. She had already been saved, not by the human beside her, but by his simple act of seeing her as she truly was. Not an aberration, but a wonder. Not Chromata, the broken one, but Isabella, irreplaceable and whole. And in the vast darkness of space, among countless stars and infinite possibilities, that made all the difference.